So first ever audition was for Oliver when I was about 11 years old, and I got the part as urchin number 73 / book boy. No, this book boy bit was important because it meant that I got to say a line which went like this: "Books you ordered from the bookseller, sir." I can still do my audition dance. For everyone's health and my my embarrassment is probably best I don't, but it involves a lot of slapping of knees and bits of that, you know.
When I first came out to LA, I'd go read for these really amazing, like, horror films. And you show up at some, like, warehouse, and there's, like, a line of, like, 120 ladies, and they're wearing, like, mini skirts and, like, you know, wonder bras. And you know, I mean, I would do that a couple of times, and I'd be reading the scripts, and it would be, like, I mean, just so terrible to women. Yeah, should I do it for you? Maybe I should try to write a horror film in which the girl is the serial killer. Why are the women always the victims? It should be the other way around. Can we talk to Eddie about that? Do you think he'd agree? He might. I don't know.
The first thing I auditioned for, the first job that I got that I can remember was for an infomercial called the Revo Styler, I believe it was. And it's when my hair was longer when I moved here. And, you know, it was like this electric roller thing. And it's me like... You know, it was difficult to audition because you get here and, you know, you think that you're super unique and special, which you are in your heart, and your mother thinks so. But when you walk into the audition room, there are a lot of people who look just like you.
Sex scenes are always awkward, certainly in Britain as well, where we're all so sort of stiff upper lip. No one really wants to talk about it or discuss it beforehand, so everyone kind of tiptoes around the event, and then you sort of... they cry action and you sort of go at it until it's so awkward that you can't go anymore. There's a moment in Savage Grace in which I have a sort of threesome with, three in the bed moment with Julianne Moore and Hugh Dancy. And Hugh Dancy was an old mate. I'd worked with him on Elizabeth in a HBO thing a while back. And I remember when we did that scene, we sort of all wake up in the morning, we all start sort of kissing each other, and then what happened at the end of all that is we just all burst into hysterics, basically. And the laughter at the end of it kind of adds something weird and bizarre, uncanny to an already kind of intriguing scene. So.
What's so strange about a lot of Hollywood filmmaking is you tend to see the same sex over and over. It's just so refreshing to see sex that's not like man and a woman, you know, missionary position, they both come at the same time. I mean, when does that ever happen in real life? Only when you're faking it. There's something interesting about the pursuit of trying to get closer to what sex is actually like sometimes, which is it can be awkward, and then it like stumbles into a kind of beautiful ecstasy.
Armageddon makes me cry. I remember watching Armageddon with some friends in Scotland, and we all sat in, it was a New Year about 10 years ago, and we all sat in different seats, so none of us could sort of see each other, and there was just this bit at the end when Liv Tyler was there, and you know, they sacrificed himself, and we were all doing that thing of trying to be stoic, and then one of us turned around with like tear-stained faces and was like, crying like a baby? Crying like a baby. All of us were sobbing.
Everybody's fine. With Robert De Niro, there's a scene where he drops his pills or something, or his glasses on the ground, and some guy comes up and just crushes them. And it really reminded me, it made me think of my dad. That's the movie that recently that really brought me to tears.
Rust and Bone, I just bawled my eyes out during. I mean, that moment when she walks up to the thing and she's got those prosthetic legs now, and that little bit of like aluminum is just sticking out between her pant and her sneaker, and she walks up to that glass and the orca just like comes out of the blue and she just touches it. I mean, oh. Or even when she like wheels out onto the porch and like Katy Perry is blasting and she starts like doing the orca dance with her hands. I mean, that was just like transcendent. And on a plane, I cry about everything. I mean, even a romantic comedy at 35,000 feet is a real tragedy. I mean, I'll sob through these things by myself.
One of my cinematic crushes is for sure Richard Gere. Pretty Woman, I think, might have been the beginning of the end for me. And he has this gray hair, and it's just like he's looking at you. You know, with that look, and yeah. I was... Yes.
I'm afraid I was a Julia Roberts fan. My dad is like a massive Pretty Woman fan. I'm not afraid. I'm very openly proud of it. But he was pretty obsessed.
Marlon Brando. He's so self-contained, but there's something stirring within, and all he has to do is like look up, and something comes out of him that is, I mean, just a magnetism. You wonder all the time what he's thinking. There's something so attractive about that. The Last Tango in Paris. I mean, talk about a sex scene, right? Yeah. That's probably a closer to authentic love scene than most of the things we see most of the time.